this design, what we're going to do is we're going to build the cover. On building the cover, we're going to have to turn in the model and then also the image of the entity. So once you're finished with that, go ahead and drop it in the Dropbox, and we'll also produce a JPEG of the image, just like you see here. So first thing we want to do is we want to work with the image that's located on the model. So right here, go over to my desktop, look in my folder, and I'm going to send you this image right here, this JPEG. So first thing I want you to do is right button click and edit that image. What we need to do is we need to split this image up into separate entities. You can pick just 3 surfaces if you wish, and then off of those 3 surfaces we'll try to gain the profiles of the unit that we need to work on. So first thing I want to do is I want to save as, and I want to save this as underscore top, and then hit save. Then I want to do it again, save as, and I want it to be, let's say, right. And then I save as, and I want this one to be front. And if you want the bottom, you can also save the bottom for the profile of the bottom chaos that's underneath it. So if you save as, and then save as bottom. Alright, I used just bot there. So now, once I do that, now I need to actually make that entity only that part of it. So you touch here and you select with a box, and then once you get the box located, make sure you leave the outer shell box around it, and then hit delete on the keyboard. Here, hit delete on the keyboard. And that's all I want. I just want that image right there. If you wish, you can do some cropping. So if you grab right here, you can actually just grab it and pull it and put it up in the location. Don't play around with those boxes on the edge. Now once you've got that, you can grab up here and you can pull, and that closes the image down. So if we hit save, there's our bottom of our part. Now I need to go to the others. So I've got front, right. I know which one's right. That's the one over here. So if I box around some of this other junk, make sure you leave the box. So get close, but not too close. So that one's too close. That one's perfect. And go ahead and box up the junk, even the shade line if you want. Then grab it, pull it up in the corner, and then grab the bottom corner of it and shade up. So hit save. Open. Next one I'm going to do is going to be, so far I've got top, so I do know which one's top. That's the one up here. So get rid of all of that. And then grab the profile, move it up, and then move this one up, and then hit save. Last one I think I have is bottom or front. So let's check front. So front we know is going to be the frontal, facial, or front of the part. Now box it around, move it, and then touch again, move the box up, and then hit save. So now if I check through on them, I'll have front, I'll have top, I'll have right, I'll have bottom, and that's about as much as you need. And you always have the backup image, meaning the full, just to make sure you can go back to it. Alright, so once you've got that into place, now it's time for us to set this up inside Creo. So need you to go inside Creo, set your work directory, so wherever you're doing this work. And then once you've got that set, then you can set up for the name. So you can go over and you can steal the name from where. You can steal it from maybe one of those images if you named them like I did. And then start up your new part. Paste in for your part. And then I'm going to put a 3 here because my image is a little bit different. Now, once your image and everything sets up and starts coming into play, then the next thing you want to do is pull your planes up. We need to actually set up those images across the part. So we need to go over to, I think it is View, and then Model Display and Images. Off of this, now we can come in and we can import. And we want to import at a certain view, certain projection. So we've got to make sure we get this right. So we pick the plane, and this one's going to be my front. And then I go over to my work directory, so I can go work directory. And then I can check down through and see which one's my front. If you name it front, it makes it a little bit easier to see on your design. Now, let's go with Bedank. Now, once I've got that, the other thing I need to worry about is size and how big it is across this profile of this part. So, I don't care what size you guys use, but once you decide on the size of the profile, then you need to make sure that it is scaled roughly to that. Right now, if we look at this and I just project and I put in a measurement from there to there, then I need to touch the fit and figure out a measurement from hole to hole. So I'm not sure, I think the hole to hole was roughly about 4 inches on the profile. So let's go with that. So if we go with the whole fit and we pick from maybe this point to this point right here, and then we double click on the dimension, we wish that to be the size. So right there, let's say that our unit is, let's try 5, 6, say 5.5 inches. So 5.5 inches. So once we pick that, then it scaled our unit, made it pretty small on our profile. Once we're done with fit, now we can start to pull it over, and we've got to scale up for that unit. And we're going to see it. And what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to line it up. So if I take and I look at a certain view, so let's view normal. So if we're viewing normal to that plane, now we're looking at it nice and 2D. So now we're going to come over and we're going to try to line that baby up right there at that hole, right at the center of this hole. Won't be the best, won't be the easiest, but that looks pretty good for the design. So now I'm going to check out, and now I've got that image in there. Now we need to put one of the other images on the other planes that are in location. But if you look at it, it's becoming pretty hard to realize where the planes are. So watch the trick I do here. I'm going to grab this front plane. I'm going to insert a sketch. And then when I insert that sketch, I'm going to put one line in. I'm going to put that line in from the center here over the center here. When I do this, I'm going to put 5.5. And then I'm going to say OK. What it did is it auto-scaled all of the planes down in size now, so it will make it a little bit easier to see things and line them up. I first need to hit save, and I need to save where our folder is. Now we can do this operation again, and we can start the images, and then I import another image, and I wish to put that one on the top plane. Off the top plane, I'm going to go to my work directory, and then I want to pick up the top view of this profile of this design. So the top view of the profile of the design can now come into play. When it comes into play, it might be orientated the wrong way like this. So if it comes in orientated a little bit backwards, then what I want to do is I want to view normal to the plane. So now I can see it. And then when I touch it, I can orientate with this little dot right here. So orientate and rotate until I see the side wall of the picture straighten out. Now once I've got that one into play, then I've got the orientation correct for the profile. So now if we take and we look at it a little bit sideways, we can start to scale this unit up. And how do you scale it up? You can scale it up by grabbing here. Now we want an orientation point on the part, and the orientation point is probably going to be that tangency point right there. So we pull right over here and we put it right there at that orientation point. Then we move our picture over to the center of the hole, and then we start to pull with the picture. You're going to see it scaling with that point. Once we get roughly to the size of the profile of the design, we can move it over just a snug if we have to, left or right, or scale it up a little bit more. All you have to do is be kind of close with this. It's not easy to do, and it's not easy to orientate perfectly on the designs. But right there, it looks pretty good for the profile of the design. Next one we want to do is maybe the half side of the part. So next thing we want to do is go in here, start images, pick up for import, pick up the view that you want to project it on, work directory, and then the side view, the right side view of the part. So say open, and then what we notice is it's kind of orientated crooked. So off of this, what we might do is we might come in and set normality of this plane. So now we know we're straight. Once we do that, we can start to pitch this and rotate it. We want to rotate until we see the side edge of the picture straighten out. Once you see that happen, looks good. Then you can come in and you can slowly kind of pitch sideways and start to orientate the picture until you see it match up with the farthest edge. Then start to pull, and then move a little bit, and then pull just a little bit, and then move a little bit, and then we're almost perfectly lined up right about there with the profile of the part. So now you can see the edge. Now we're not lined up with the plane, we're just lined up with the sides of it. So we need to pull over to the side of the plane, and then off of that we can line up with the part right there. So if you want to, you can do things that are a little bit tricky. Is just kind of pull it sideways, try to get everything on the perfect projection a little bit sideways, and then pick up or down a little bit sideways on the profile. So now we can see the profile somewhat lined up with the items and what they look like for the projections. The biggest thing we're going to need is just the outside profile of this unit, and maybe the whole locations, and maybe what this raised surface looks like. So if you wish, you can also put in one. I usually sometimes I'll cheat a little bit, and I'll put the giant picture of all of them way over here in space just to help me out. So if I put in an image, and then my last image goes on, let's say imported on this plane, I'll pick the work directory, and I'll pick them all. So there's our all picture with the JPEG. And I'll drop that one in way out here in space. And what that does is it just kind of gives you an idea of the orientation, what things look like. Because when we're trying to do maybe this cutout sweep right there, we actually might need that bottom view, and we might need to still project that or put it in. But it's just how you see the part and how you see the design. Once you got it set up, hit save, make sure you're saved, and then on the next video we'll start to do the modeling of the profile. Talk to you guys later.